It's match day 6 of the inaugural season of the Australian Championship, but sadly, the journey ends today for the Broadmeadow Magic and Sydney Olympic. It's pride on the line from Magic Park and also third place in the group. Sydney Olympic with a draw would hold on to third spot, or a win of course, but the Magic, having defeated Olympic when they met at Jubilee Stadium earlier in the group stage, will be hoping to triumph for the second time head-to-head in this championship and leapfrog them to finish in third place. Scenes of pre-game at a beautiful Magic Park, very windy but a sunny and pleasant day otherwise. Here's how the group stands. South Melbourne's draw with Moreton City Excelsior on Friday night secured the top two, meaning Sydney Olympic can only reach 7 points and Broadmeadow can only climb to 6. Both teams out of the tunnel, both wearing their home kit as well. Still plenty of individual intrigue in this game, both for players' prospects of where they may end up next season, either proving themselves to stay at their current clubs, breaking into the professional ranks of the A-League, or, in the case of Ali Orgler, individual glory. The Golden Boot is on the line as well, after a couple of goals yesterday, made it a tie at the top of the leaderboard. Who do you think will win? Scan the QR code. Your chance to vote. You can also jump onto the Australian Championship website to have your say on who you think will prevail. So both teams lining up, crowd rolling into Magic Park, McDonald Jones Stadium you can see there in the background. And the conditions and the pitch looking in pretty good order. Sydney Olympic have been the entertainers. They might be going out of this competition after today, but every game they've played has been goal-filled fun. And it was no exception when Broadmeadow Magic won by the odd goal in 5 when they met earlier in the group. So let's take a look at how Broadmeadow Magic line up this afternoon. They make one change with James Kresnar coming back into the starting 11 and Ben Diamond dropping out of the matchday squad. Aaron Cox and Ezra Palambini were both goal scorers when the teams met last time. Sydney Olympic also make one change. Chris Donnell comes in at centre-back. There's no Teng Kuol today. A big out for Olympic. All the focus is on Ali Orgler. He has scored 5 goals, 1 in each game so far. He is tied with Lachlan Scott of the Wollongong Wolves at the top of the Golden Boot, 1 ahead of Bruno Fornaroli, who's already played his final game. And there are a host of players on 3 goals that are playing today, including Drayden Kelly of Apia, Aidan Kyra of NWS Spirit. But Ali Orgler is very much in the box seat. And will he continue his marvellous scoring form? Rumours are swirling that he's already secured a move back to the A-League once the championship is over. Jim Kresnar in charge of the Magic. They have won just their second game on the national stage in the NPL era during this tournament. Before the championship, they were 1 win and 8 losses. And even though they only have 1 win from 5 in this group, they have at least been able to salute again in the national rounds of a competition. And if they finish third in the group, that, I think, for many would be considered to be a pass mark. And the fact that they were even alive in the group until last weekend, definitely an achievement. Today's officiating crew will be led by Calvin Berg. Of course, the championship's been a great opportunity to see the refereeing stocks around the different states and territories of who's coming through. Australia with a pretty good reputation for producing referees as well. Labano Haliti and the Sydney Olympic sideline. 3 seasons for Haliti conclude today. He'll be hoping to go out with a win. So underway, Broadmeadow Magic take kick-off attacking the right of your screens at Magic Park in the final game of Group A. South Melbourne and Moreton City Excelsior already safely through to the knockout rounds. Who will finish third in the group, and in years to come when they look back on the history books, at least remember fondly that they were able to avoid finishing in last place. Of course, Olympic only need a draw to ensure that. But given that both teams have only won 1 out of 5 so far, they would both love to leave with a win. And it's been entirely the nature of Group A that the matches have been high scoring with big momentum swings. Friday night was no exception. When South Melbourne were 2-0 up early in that game, Sydney Olympic would have been just reviewing the calculations about how many they would have had to win by today in order to go through and overtake Moreton City. And even when South Melbourne were 3-2 up, Sydney Olympic was still mathematically alive, but a late equaliser was enough to put paid to their chances. And it's not like South Melbourne didn't have additional opportunities to go through 4-3 in that game and keep Olympic alive for today, but they weren't able to do them that favour. As we see a little backheeled flick into the penalty area here, comfortably collected by Zach Bowling. Of course, if you're across the Australian Championship, 2 other games have kicked off with Metro Stars hosting Sydney United in Adelaide, and also South Hobart hosting Heidelberg United down in Tasmania. The only other dead rubber of sorts coming into today, with Heidelberg locked into top spot in the group and South Hobart playing for pride. 2 other games coming up later today, both very much alive. Metro Stars happy to settle. Short pass here, coming out from the back. Bowling, intercepted in midfield by Seth Clark. Now turning and going, Amanda. Referee waves away any shouts for a foul. Cyrus Demi was the man knocked over. Demi's remained down behind play. And in the meantime, a grab of the shirt on Hong. So there is the fallen player, Cyrus Demi. Had a penalty shout, which wasn't really gaining the interest of the referee, but he remains sore in the meantime. Here's another look. You be the ref at home. Oh dear, oh dear. Potentially incriminating footage for the defender there. Would have potentially been a pretty good shout for an early penalty, especially if they were playing at Jubilee or at Belmore in front of the home fans. Now, is the issue a rib or abdominal here for Cyrus Demi? The trainer is working away on the rib cage. It was the heavy landing and, well, the heavy landing into Cyrus Demi, and you can see him react and wince in pain after the defender landed on him there for his trouble. So, Demi's back up. He's okay. Hopefully, the reassurance of the physio is enough for him to continue in the match without Olympic having to burn an early sub. Not even 5 minutes in. And now the resulting free kick. Olympic trying to take charge of the game. Ryan Fuchs. Bending the free kick in. Brilliant. Ryan Fuchs on his return to northern New South Wales hits the back of the net within the first 5 minutes. He made his name in this NPL competition in northern New South Wales before his move to Olympic. And that is a brilliantly executed free kick. Goalkeeper left with little chance. And as far as the 24-year-old from New Zealand is concerned, his stocks continue to rise in such impressive fashion. 1-0 to Sydney Olympic, and it's entirely expected that the goal scoring will continue, you would imagine, given the way that they have approached this championship. And there were some rumours around that the Wellington Phoenix might have been interested in Ryan Fuchs in continuing his time in professional football. Those may yet materialise in the January transfer window. I'm sure that Olympic would love to keep him, given his stunning goal-scoring form, both in the second half of the NPL season and also into this Australian Championship. He was an Edgeworth Eagle, so of course there'd be no love lost against the Broadmeadow Magic for Futes. We see Clark here hustling and being knocked off the ball by Parks. Clearance comes from Chris Donnell. Broadmeadow's first real meaningful attack of any note. Headed away by Clark again. Heavy touch from Kresnar, left the ball well out in front of himself. Around the corner goes Bidwell. Back pass here, Cyrus Demi back up and running, looking well after the treatment on his rib cage. Clearance is going to be picked off here and potentially returned with interest. Seth Clark catches a big deflection. That will be a corner kick. And Olympic have another set piece opportunity here. Olympic would have to wonder what scoreline would make them feel completely safe. They have given up 2-goal leads in a couple of the games so far in this Australian Championship. Futes ended the NPL season with 8 goals. That corner's going to sit up potentially for Demi. Penalty box scramble. Now a towering header comes through to clear. Clark through traffic, didn't catch a deflection this time like his previous shot, and out it goes for a goal kick. Relief for the home side. We've got news of a goal around the grounds. If you're doing the multi-screen experience, Metro Stars have already taken the lead against Sydney United 58. So they're holding up their end of the bargain, needing to win today in order to lift the pressure this afternoon for the game between Metro Stars up here in Bayswater coming up later. And we're going to see that goal now. So over to the TK Shutter Reserve. Home side at Metro Stars playing in the yellow and red. Just keep an eye on Seth Clark in our feature game here as well, as Sydney Olympic pass around the penalty area. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a bungle playing out from the back here for Sydney Olympic, and that is how Metro Stars took the lead. So 1-0, and great stuff from our production team to keep us updated with what's going on around the grounds. You might be juggling your devices and have different tabs of your computers open depending on where you're watching from. Busy final day of the Australian Championship group stage. Olympic looking for a second, as well, that looked promising off the boot, and then just continued to veer further and further wide as it travelled through the air. It's primarily been the away side on top here, Olympic. They're looking for a second to really consolidate in the game here. Assert a bit of dominance and potentially go out with a bang. Demi can't take possession away. And now a repelling run. Really good work there from Aaron Cox to get Broadmeadow into attack, and through the left they venture. Just running out of real estate against the line there was Aiden Gage-Raftery. Not able to win his team a corner. Zach Zoricic safely seeing the ball out. So 10 minutes gone, and Ryan Futz's free kick is the difference between the two sides. Clark has understandably been busy. He gets through a power of work, shuffling the ball around midfield and trying to break the lines. Futz's only other goal in the championship was on opening night. So we have a handball here against South Melbourne. So we scored on match day 1 and match day 6 to double his tally. It takes him to double figures for the season, given he is a mid-season arrival. It's been an astute signing from Olympic. They'll just be cursing their misfortune because I was actually at the game where Sydney Olympic lost to Sydney United to be knocked out of top 6 contention in NPL New South Wales. Ryan Futz scored in that very game as well. But ultimately, they left defeated that afternoon, and United would go on to play finals at their expense, falling to Marconi in the elimination final. Broadmeadow having real issues passing around the back here. Kresnar's giveaway. Futz is on for a double. Yes! The goals are flying in for Olympic now. It's muted celebrations. They are playing for pride. But so far, so good for Sydney Olympic. Ryan Futz has a double. They lead 2-0. And even though the narrative coming into today was Ali Orgler going to be able to win the Golden Boot, instead it is Ryan Futz who has struck twice in the first 12 minutes. And Broadmeadow will be ropeable with how they've coughed the ball up there and gone in to score. And whether he cuts his own highlights or whether he's got an agent to do it, Ryan Futz has 2 more goals to put on the show reel to continue to press his case to play at the highest possible level. He has been a great addition to the Australian Championship. And as I said, after his first goal, Sydney Olympic would dearly love to be bringing him back to play for them next season. Notwithstanding, of course, they're a foundation member of the championship now. Could this be 3 or just wide? Perhaps should have been. Broadmeadow Magic cannot stem the bleeding at the moment, and Ali Orgler puts it agonisingly wide of the post, and that nearly was 6 in 6, and an outright lead in the Golden Boots. Well, it's a bit carefree at the moment from Broadmeadow Magic. They look vulnerable to conceding every time Olympic go forward at the moment. Tell you what, if you got your vote in early on the poll of who you think is going to win, I hope you voted Olympic because they are dominant at present. I guess, as we see a tough tackle there, advantage given in midfield. That's Zoricic, who could be on for a card when the referee pulls things back. We'll be interested to see what he rules. In the meantime, he's going to keep snapping at the heels here as Broadmeadow Magic have taken their advantage, but they're not going to use it. It's been given away with that crossfield ball, and now counter on counter here. This might suit Olympic down to a T. Pushed through for Demi, and a slide challenge comes in at the last from Beecham to clear the ball out of the penalty area. And a little overzealous there from Demi. That'll be a free kick going the way of the Magic. So all eyes on the referee. Is he going to come back for a card for that challenge in Zoricic in midfield? It seems not. There'll be no further sanction. That was the challenge. It's come and gone. Referee saw fit just to play advantage at the time, and then a little bit of afters there with Cyrus Demi. Of course, the last thing you'd want is to be picking up a suspension in the final game of this championship and knowing that you won't be back until round 2 of the NPL next season. If you do get sent off today, you'll incur that suspension in the new season. So neither team would particularly want to run too foul of the referee today. So Olympic back in familiar territory. They have had 2 goal buffers in a number of games in this group stage, and yet only the 1 win to show for it. Sydney United have just missed a golden opportunity to equalise their game away against Metro Stars. So it's all happening around the ground. As Olympic venture forward again. Orgler. He's got the shouts coming from behind him. He's got two defenders to deal with, trying to wiggle out of a jam. He takes the ball down towards the corner and effectively enough is able to win a throw in. The former MacArthur man who joined from Rockdale in the special transfer window prior to the Australian Championship, and what a great move it's been for him individually. Clark knocks the ball back to Sam Bosniak. Christinell. Long ball here, hoping for the run and finding the run of O'Toole. Cuts it back into the box. Amanda. He's hit form at the end of the championship as well. Gloria Amanda. Shot kept rising. He was in the team of the week last week for his efforts in the 3-3 draw against Moreton City, and he's won a corner here. Just getting a slight nick off Charles Bidwell, who was lunging out in front of the shot. No qual to aim for at set pieces today. Normally an obvious aerial target for Olympic, and maybe that's why they're taking a short corner here rather than knocking it into the box. And now to the back post it goes. It's going to slide back and a drive on a tight angle into the side netting. Ali Orgler, you can forgive him for being hungry today. His teammates will no doubt be trying to set him up as well. They'll be aware that he's no longer the outright leader of the Golden Boot. I mean, he's many neutrals' choice as the player of the tournament as well. Be interesting to see if Olympic missing out on the knockout rounds of competition ends up altering people's perception of the performances of some of the individuals, Ali Orgler in particular, as their participation fades in the memory through the knockout rounds, which start next weekend. 4 quarterfinals and then the semis and final. Plenty of football to focus on the pointy end of the tournament over the next month or so. Ball from deep in midfield here. And a lone hand up top on that occasion was Cody Nancaro, and the ball comfortably cleared away. Little pocket of blue shirts, both jerseys and polos in the stand, and an Olympic away bay of sorts. Clark has been really busy in this game. Amanda. Demi making a run. It's Cyrus Demi. Can he get his stride right? He's just tumbling off balance at the key moment and ultimately does go to ground. In his haste to get to the ball. Here's Orgler keeping it in. No lost causes out there when he's in the vicinity. Ali Orgler didn't catch it the way he would have hoped. He had dreams of a virtuoso solo goal there, but he scuffed the shot right at the last second. This was a good break from Olympic. They were trying to go end to end, and Amanda nearly setting away Cyrus Demi, but he just kept running wider and wider. Good touch by O'Toole, swings in across. It's going to clear all and sundry. And out the other side of the penalty area, Futsu is on a hat-trick now, twisting it back into the box. Demi, and a foot save by the keeper. The shot caught a deflection and perhaps sent Zach Bowling the wrong way, and he had to swing his left foot at the ball and kick it behind. Out for a corner. A good readjustment on his way to ground from the goalkeeper as we take another look. Cyrus Demi on the turn. And you see the defender sliding in was just enough to make it difficult. That's a good save. The defending is not yet done. Clark's corner, in swinger. First head is into the back, more off the back than the head, and thus no real goal-bound power. Cleared away, Zoricic. Wheels around. Body language said, where are the options? He has to go back to O'Toole. Now Donnell. Jim Kresnar from the sideline trying to organise his team, but they are chasing shadows at times here against the Olympic side, who are looking in the groove today. Zoricic, who started the move down at left back, has found himself all the way up on the right wing, but can't keep the ball in. Broadmeadow really limited to just the kick and hope at the moment. The long ball seems to be their only form of attack, and often it's really coming as more of a defensive outlet to try and just clear their lines, temporarily relieve some of the pressure that's building on them here. No shots, as you can see there on the stat sheet. Little back heel was super clever. Amanda twists it into the middle. Orgler was waiting, and the ball is cleared away. Good defensive header. That was Donnell getting up for the ball, but his work is far from done because Broadmeadow are running now at the Olympic defence. Palambini scored when the teams met back at Jubilee. Here's Bidwell pushing forward. Better from Broadmeadow, retaining the ball in their attacking third. Can they fire a shot? They can, but Simmons steers it well wide. And that is the best that Broadmeadow Magic have looked in a passing build-up so far today. The referee is going to call players in for a drinks break at about a quarter of the way through the afternoon's action. For those of you watching interstate or overseas, it has risen to 31 degrees this afternoon, so understandable that the wet bulb has necessitated a drinks break, and the match commissioner would have informed the referees to take one in each half. We're going to take a look at the goals if you've only just joined us, or if you're channel surfing around the Australian Championship this afternoon. We've had two so far. One of them would have to be maybe even sneaking into the top 10 goals of the tournament. I'm not sure if we've seen a better direct free kick than Ryan Futz's so far. Labano Haliti using this break to take a team talk. So here's the first goal of the game. Ryan Futz, not quite the top corner, but pretty close. Pretty good free kick. Very well executed from the 24-year-old Kiwi. And even though it was a full-length dive from Zach Bowling, he wasn't able to get his right palm onto the ball. And then the second goal, giveaway here. Kresnar chasing a touch that he wasn't able to retrieve. Gloria Munda will get the assist, and Futz kept the defence guessing, left-right. Thomas Beecham ultimately didn't make a tackle, so just a little bit, half a step too far away to lunge in. And Futz executed beautifully, and that's his skill, that's his technique. He is a natural goal scorer. He just knows how to get into the right position and finish when he is. So that drinks break will be tacked on to stoppage time at the end of the first half. We've had also the little break for Cyrus Demi to get his rib cage checked by the physio. So you'd think we'd already be up to 2 or 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. Play's going to restart here with a Sydney Olympic goal kick. Plenty of distance on it from Jack Gibson, and one header takes straight down to his opposite number. Really nice first touch out of the air to take possession from Bidwell. Palambini. You wonder what might have been said in the Broadmeadow huddle to better deal with some of Sydney Olympics' pressing and midfield traps, try to find a way through, which is exactly what they're attempting to do here on the left side. The shot's on. Big block away. Sydney Olympic defence standing tall. Continuing his individual run there was Aaron Cox. He didn't score last time the teams played, so no doubt plenty of confidence going up against this Olympic defence, but he was foiled on that occasion. Palambini really getting busy. I think all of the Broadmeadow midfielders would have recognised the stranglehold that Seth Clark had on this game for the first 20 minutes, and they need to redress that and try to starve him of the ball and say his name, and he appears. Clark hassling, and this time outpointed. Well played in the battle by Parks, but it is short-lived, and Olympic have possession back. Josh Hong over to the right-hand side. Got news of a goal down in Tassie. South Hobart are in front against Heidelberg. They are the only team to have not picked up a single competition point. Stay with play here. Bouncing ball. Demi chasing. And Beecham holds his nerve. Able to steer the ball away to safety and find his teammates. It's going to be sent all the way back to Bowling. Bowling plays it out. Gage Raftery. He's normally been so prominent in games. Still really trying to engage in this one. Perhaps would have been told at that break for a drink to be more willing to come deep and get a feel for the pace of play. See what he can do to influence things. Palambini. So 24 minutes gone down in Tassie. And Heidelberg, of course, are already locked into top spot in the group. Yesterday's dramatic Wollongong Wolves win against Marconi meant that Marconi were locked into second. So here's the goal for South Hobart. Darcy Street well attended once again. Tassie's really jumped on board with the Australian Championship, and the home side have given the fans something to cheer. Backup goalkeepers in the net for Heidelberg today in a heavily rotated squad, as you can imagine, already being locked into top spot. So can South Hobart pick up their first win? That would mean every team, all 16 Australian Championship teams, will have won a game if they can get up. Great run down the right side here from Olympic. And it finishes with a little deflection. Ali Orkla, we've seen him attack from the left. We're seeing him attack from the right. He'll go anywhere to try and break into the attacking third. That was a bustling run that ultimately wins his team a corner. Clark getting over to swing this one in. You can see the wind has picked up a bit. It's quite windy at kickoff, and you can hear it whistling through the effects microphones as well. So an in-swinging corner should be the order right here. Clark attacks the near post. It falls. Who's going to take a shot? Orgla blocked away. Good save Bowling. He made himself big, and Ali Orgla couldn't prod it through a gap. Broadmeadow counter-attack has been short-circuited here by the hustle of Samuel Bosnack to get back and win the ball. Back to his keeper, Gibson. Ali Orgla's had a couple of chances now. A shot off target, a shot on target. As we take a look picture-in-picture at the replay here, I think the best chance for Orgla to score might have been going through the legs of Bowling. Let's take a look here at breaks. No, he had his legs closed too, so he would have had to put it either left or right, and instead he shot it right into the chest of the oncoming Broadmeadow goalkeeper. But glory is away here. Gloria Munda. A little nutmeg was clever. Can he find a teammate though? He's surrounded by red shirts. And so he pops it back out of the area to Seth Clark. Clark, O'Toole. O'Toole through ball. Fuchs for his hat-trick, and it's cleared behind. Broadmeadow last-ditch defending to avoid conceding a third. And Ryan Fuchs knows that perhaps should have been a 30-minute hat-trick for him. Great pass from O'Toole. And then Fuchs, it's been knocked over the bar by the knee of Tom Beecham, out for a corner kick. So we've seen a couple of short corners, and again, there is a man on here for Olympic if they want to go for the short corner, but I think we're about to see a more conventional delivery. Right into the mixer it falls and cleared off the post. It could have been so many more than two at this point for Sydney Olympic. They are dominating this match here against Broadmeadow, and Zach Bowling has had a fair bit to do with keeping the score to 2. Orgler gets into a tangle down in the corner. O'Toole had positioned himself well to take the ball. A shove, a free kick, shooting range. Ryan Fuchs, shooting range. Hong's not happy with how he was fouled. He thinks there should be a card. But look at the number 19, Ryan Fuchs. He's quickly over to the free kick. Cyrus Deming, I think, is trying to have a conversation with him about perhaps who should take it. But if the earlier free kick today was anything to go by, well, Fuchs appears to have yielded. I don't know, maybe they're talking about who gets a goal bonus and how many more they need. Of course, Ali Orgler, we did see when the teams met at Jubilee that he scored a left-footed free kick, which was able to sneak in to the bottom left corner. So maybe Cyrus Demi is there as a decoy. 5 in the wall this time, compared to 4 in the wall for the Fuchs free kick earlier. Is it going to be Cyrus Demi or Ali Orgler to strike the free kick? It's Demi, and the wall did its job. A sidestep and a burst of acceleration, and the cross is too close to the keeper. We saw there Tom Beecham, he's still taking deep breaths after he was the player that bore the brunt of the free kick in the wall. He was a little bit winded, but his teammates decided against putting the ball out, just knocked it around, calmed things down, and you can see he's now back walking in. Still feeling his midriff, so he's still a little bit sore, but he's okay to continue with the ball live in play. Broadmeadow are going to advance here. Bidwell already at the edge of the box, squares it up. Palambini. Gage Raftery sees the diagonal run. Good movement from Parks, and it results in a Broadmeadow corner. So what can they do at a set piece here? Jack Simmons is going over to take the set piece. Simmons corner. Tumbling to the edge of the box. Parks recycles the ball. Gage Raftery steps around Demi. Gage Raftery blocked immediately. Well, the counter was nearly on. If Amunda had been able to rake in that ball, it would have been almost a 3-on-none there for Olympic. Instead, Broadmeadow can attack again. Bidwell stopped in his tracks. And from the base of midfield, well, the attempt to release on the counter-attack is going to run down to Bowling. And instead of another corner, this time Parks has been foiled. Good one-on-one defending. And that means it's going to be a goal kick. 10 minutes of regulation to go in the first half. There will be a decent chunk of stoppage due to the drinks break. Bosniak. Sweeping ball will be intercepted by Beecham. Back to his keeper. The press nearly affecting a turnover, but players kept their heads there. Particularly Bidwell, his release pass. Able to keep it moving to Simmons, and now the ball long, tight angle on the left side. And Gibson really forced off his feet for the first time today. Cody Nancaro was on a tight angle there, and it certainly wasn't a goal-bound shot, but Gibson wasn't to know that there wouldn't be someone advancing through the right side of the box as Broadmeadow saw it, so down he went. Put his fingertips on the cross and then was able to drag the ball in. There's the pole. Well, there must be some pretty dedicated Broadmeadow Magic fans. Have your say. See if you can get Broadmeadow in front. Maybe on the pole, if not on the current scoreboard, which reads 2-0. You'd have no reason not to keep believing that a comeback is possible, given the way the momentum has swung in Group A games all through this group stage. It doesn't matter whether it's been South, Moreton City, Sydney Olympic or Broadmeadow. They've all had their moments where they've gone on a run of scoring, and they've all had their moments where they've gone on a run of conceding goals. 2 or sometimes even 3 in a row. Sydney Olympic will feel like they could be 4 or 5 up here, though. They could be out of sight. And they've still got a decent chunk of time before the halftime break to build on their lead. I tell you, there's been a pretty big fight down in Adelaide. Looks like Bailey Rule and Michael Cittadini have got into a big old scuffle, but I'm not sure if the referee's going to reach for any cards. Of course, both teams locked in a battle. It looks as though no cards were given for that fight, that little scuffle, so we will keep you posted, though, on any goals around the grounds. Any material changes to the group standings. Bidwell, bit of a tough pass to control there as he fired it over to Krasnar. Olympic trying to set a midfield trap. Tough tackling from Bosniak, and that's enough to clear the ball over to the right side. Aaron Cox keeping it in. Simmons. Crossfield pass is going to force his teammate to backtrack ever so slightly. Sydney Olympic set behind the ball. The touch back inside from Nancaro, just a little slick for his teammates to take. Broadmeadow will have a throw, though. Palambini trying to get something going for the home side. They'd love to halve the deficit. Give the fans that have come along today a cause to believe in for the second half. And a foul and free kick over on the left flank here. Gage Raftery able to lure in a sliding challenge. No thoughts of a card from the referee, just a foul. So Gage Raftery was trying to escape away from Bosniak, who went to ground. Probably make an argument he got a fair bit of the ball there, the Sydney Olympic defender, but the referee said it was a free kick. So, free kick for Broadmeadow on a tight angle. Whipped in, Gibson bats it down, and the follow-up is there. Great volley from Krasnar. And the Broadmeadow Magic have halved the deficit. 5 minutes to go until half-time. And James Krasnar has rifled that in. It's Broadmeadow Magic 1, Sydney Olympic 2. And a Group A goal fest is on the way again. Gibson's initial parry. Kresnar had time and space to swing his right foot at the ball. And where so often you might see that on a windy day like this, skied or sliced, he has hit that true and it has flown into the back of the net. And in true Olympic fashion, at least in the 6 games of this Australian Championship, no lead is safe. And a game where they could have been out of sight with 3, 4 or 5 goals to their name. Instead, it's back to 2-1. We have an interesting little phase here before the halftime whistle. Clark. Demi. And that will be a corner kick. Put behind by Wilson. Plenty of corners in this half so far for Sydney Olympic from both sides too. Seth Clark has been taking all of the left-footed ones from the right side here. And his have all been fairly conventional in-swingers. Here it comes. Again honing in on the near post, and the punch from Bowling sees it through the penalty area, and that should be an Olympic throw over on the opposite side. Indeed it is. There's a look at the fans who've come out to support the Australian Championship. Of course, Broadmeadow Magic didn't have the greatest Australia Cup record in the national rounds coming into this competition, but the 6 games of Australian Championship would certainly give them hope that if they do make it back to the national rounds in either competition next season, either by qualifying in the Cup or by winning the Premiership again in northern New South Wales, that they'll be quite competitive. Foul here on O'Toole before the ball went into the penalty area, meaning it's a wide free kick opportunity here for Olympic. Futes over the free kick this time. Easily dealt with by the near defender. Back out for a throw-in. Ball living down at Olympic's attacking end as they try to re-establish a 2-goal buffer. Bosniak. Donnell. Clark. Ball right through the middle. It's going to sit up at the edge of the box. Amunda. He's in a 1-on-3. He wheels around, hit the byline, and ultimately the numbers proved too many to contend with. And the ball is taken away. Broadmeadow trying to drive end to end. It was a good little run from Parks up to the halfway line. Gage Raftery's throw in. Palambini. Well, he stepped over the ball and didn't realise that Seth Clark was in the vicinity. And are we about to see the first card of the game? The referee is giving Palambini a telling off here, but no booking. Fourth official will inform us of how many minutes stoppage. 4 minutes at the end of the first half. Ball in the hands of the Broadmeadow coach, Jim Kresnar. Now Zach Zoricic to bring it back in for Sydney Olympic. Amanda steps out to the right. Burst of acceleration takes him down to the corner. Ball glued to his feet. Now it's finally been ripped off him. And stand-up challenge from Zoricic leads to a free kick on Palambini. So we have another look at how the foul was committed. Amanda. Fuchs nicked off his toes. Kresnar, goal scorer for Broadmeadow. Ball is going backwards. Bowling resets. Able to roam out of his penalty area. Trying to strike an attacking pass. Maybe caught up in the wind. Danell with a solid header. Clark rising in midfield. Amanda pushed it on to Demi. Cyrus Demi sees the run. Ali Orgla wants his left foot and blocked away. He didn't quite strike it with force there. He was trying to place it between the two defenders in his way. Now a long ball from deep in midfield for Broadmeadow. Nankaro hasn't had much by way of opportunity in this first half. Can he create one of his own with a bustling run? Is he able to win a corner? Just a throw in. Cody Nankaro put his shoulder down and went to work there. Cox left in space over on the wing, but he's in no hurry to play the ball into the box. Waited for a defender to engage, and now he's got free space, but he's popped it over the head of his teammate in the penalty area, who was Tom Parks. Could have picked him out there. He was left alone to swing the ball into the box. We're into the last minute of the allocated 4 at the end of the first half. And Broadmeadow are seeing if they can launch an attack here to find an equaliser. Simmons just dinks it to the edge of the box where it's driven away. You would imagine that Sydney Olympic would be the happier of the two teams going into this half-time break, but only by virtue of the fact they're leading. All of the attacking dominance that they had has largely evaporated ever since the goal back from Broadmeadow. It's become a far more even contest in general play, as opposed to the almost sense of inevitability that more goals were coming for Olympic when they were 2-0 up and continuing to just create at will. So, what an entertaining first half. It's been everything you could ask for from a dead rubber. Lots of attacking play, plenty of dare and creativity, and a halftime score of Broadmeadow Magic 1, Sydney Olympic 2.
There's one stat best steered clear of at Broadmeadow Magic, and it's their NPL era record on the national stage. 1 win, 7 losses. Broadmeadow Magic, a name adopted in 1995 after the club played much of its history as Newcastle Macedonia. They fought their way up the leagues from humble beginnings to be 9-time premiers and 9-time champions of Northern New South Wales.
This is close. Kresnar! What a finish!
An enviable record in a football heartland. But go further afield and all you find is heartbreak. 7 times qualified for the Australia Cup national rounds, 6 of them straight out in the round of 32. But there are 6 group games coming for the Broadmeadow Magic to write a new chapter and fly the flag for Newcastle in the Australian Championship. Are Sydney Olympic a sleeping giant ready to stir? This twice NSL champion has shown us in recent years that an awakening may be coming.
And he scored!
They raised the roof at Belmore,
And Sydney Olympic are rewarded for their courageous start to this FFA Cup game.
and built on a legacy of winning. Olympic are a club for the big occasion,
Militech draws first blood in the grand final.
with champions who give everything for the shirt. A club and community that's given so much to the game.
Emerton, yes! Finished well, in off the post. Not too much that Michael Turnbull could do about that.
Ready to reclaim their place on the national stage in the Australian Championship.
Welcome back to coverage of Broadmeadow Magic against Sydney Olympic. Don't tell these two teams it's a dead rubber. It's been full of attack, full of intent, and it is a 2-1 lead to the visiting team at halftime. Given it finished 3-2 last time they met, perhaps no surprise that it has been a bit of an attacking shootout so far. The tone was set in just the 4th minute with Ryan Fuchs bending in that free kick, his second goal of the Australian Championship, and 10th for Sydney Olympic since joining them from the Edgeworth Eagles. Division rivals, of course, of the Broadmeadow Magic in northern New South Wales. And then a costly giveaway here led to Gloria Amanda setting through Fuchs. He held his nerve, put it in the bottom right corner, and that was enough for a 2-0 lead. And at that point, it was how far Olympic. But we've seen this plenty of times in the Australian Championship so far, where they've got into winning positions and haven't been able to go on with the job. So, of course, true to form, they would pepper the goal without additional reward in this half. It could have been considerably more than 2, given the nature of how the game was flowing. But Broadmeadow, to their credit, would steady and get back into the contest and try to balance up general play. This, perhaps, was one of the better opportunities. Cyrus Demi falling off balance in the end. Ali Augler's been on the hunt for the goal that would put him into the outright lead in the top scorer stakes, but so far his chances have been either saved or wide. Cyrus Demi drew that good save out of Zach Bowling as well. And then from this corner kick, Augler was able to appear, but he shot it straight at the oncoming keeper, who kept his legs closed and was able to kick it away. And then the goal for Broadmeadow. Kresnar with a volley, beautifully placed, and back into the team this week after missing match day 5. He's returned with a goal and a technically sound strike to keep it down on a day like today. So there's the shot count: 8 for Sydney Olympic, 4 on target and 6 corners. The ball's been living down their end, but they do have only the 2 goals to show for their dominance in the game. Fans have certainly enjoyed the fare on offer. Final game of the Australian Championship for them and for Northern New South Wales' participation this season. Let's take a look at some of the other highlights that have happened on match day 6. Go back to Friday night. This was the crucial game in the group that ultimately secured passage for Moreton City Excelsior into the knockout rounds of the competition. They only needed a draw coming in, but they found themselves 2-0 down against South Melbourne, only to draw back to 2-2. South Melbourne took a 3-2 lead there early in the second half through Charlie Leach, but with 15 minutes to go, Luka Jankovic came up with the equaliser, and even though South would have chances for a fourth, Moreton City Excelsior able to hold out for a 3-all draw. At Avenger Park yesterday, Preston knew that only a win would do, getting them through to the quarterfinals and leave today's game irrelevant. Instead, they have left the door ajar for the NWS Spirit to overtake them. Avondale took the lead with a goal from Blake Carpenter, and that diving header there from Jonas Markovski was Preston's equaliser It means Spirit must beat Canberra, Croatia in Canberra today to go through. Now, this was the most extraordinary game you'll probably ever see. Wollongong Wolves came in needing to win 6-0 to displace the Marconi Stallions in the group and go through at Marconi's expense because they needed an 11-goal turnaround on the goal difference. So 6 would do, 5 would not. Guess what? They got 5 and they really should have got a 6th right here. Bannery Kanazumi taking the ball off the foot of his teammate Lockie Scott. And you see from this angle here, if the flag had stayed down, Scott perhaps would have side-footed it in. Now, let's take a look at what's going on around the grounds this afternoon. Michael Chittadini was the beneficiary here of a bit of chaotic playing out from the back. He's onside and rifling that shot in. An early goal has Metro Stars in front, 1-0 against Sydney United, who, to be fair, have had their chances to draw level. And then down in Tasmania, this goal for the home side, South Hobart has them in front, 1-0 against Heidelberg United. Locked into top spot in their group, but certainly an opportunity here for the Tasmanians to finally pick up their first competition point. Rex Maddock, the goal scorer. So there's how the groups look at present. Olympic would be finishing 3rd in their group. South Hobart would be getting their first points and getting off the mark as the 16th and last team to win, should they hold on in the second half. And these are the other groups coming up later this afternoon. 4:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time kickoff. Canberra, Croatia host NWS Spirit. Croatia mathematically alive. Spirit simply need to win. And then the final game, as things stand, a West Zapia draw with Bayswater City would see both teams through, but a win either way would mean elimination for the loser, because that's due to the 1-0 lead that Metro Stars currently hold. So 4:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Those two games will finish the group stage of the Australian Championship. Stay with us. Second half action on the other side of this break. You're watching the Australian Championship. Live pictures from Magic Park as both teams are back out on the pitch for their final 45 minutes of the Australian Championship in 2025. Of course, Olympic will be back next season as a foundation member. Broadmeadow Magic hoping to finish with a bang. Now in the first half, Olympic had no less than 6 corners, but they weren't able to make the most of them. This was as close as they came to scoring, and as close as Ali Orgler came to scoring to go back to the top of the Golden Boot standings in his own respect. Orgler and Lockie Scott on 5, Bruno Fornaroli and Joseph Scott of Moreton City Excelsior on 4. Of course, both of them have already played this weekend. And then players on 3, of which Ryan Fuchs is now 1, having scored a double today. Manny Agwek, Jared Baker, who's not in the matchday squad for Broadmeadow today, Drayden Kelly, Aidan Kyra, who may add to his tally later this afternoon, Jordan Lampard of South Melbourne, Satan Murai of Moreton City, Jason Romero of Preston, and Damien Sakanis of Marconi. So, all eyes on Orgler in the second half. Can he find that 6th goal, make it a perfect 6 from 6 group stage games that he has scored in? And another goal would almost certainly, you would think, give Sydney Olympic the buffer they need to go on and win today. But we've seen big swings, we've seen comebacks. No lead is safe, especially not in Group A of the Australian Championship, as we get back underway in the second half at Magic Park. Sydney Olympic holding this 2-1 lead. Straight away from kickoff, a long ball, and Fuchs the nearest man at the fall of it, other than the goalkeeper. Broadmeadow looking to play their way out from the back here. They're going to be down in the left back corner, so Wilson turns inside and goes to his goalkeeper, Bowling. Errant pass, potentially giving away the ball. Amanda couldn't take it and keep possession though. So Broadmeadow get out of jail a little bit there. Aaron Cox is going to take on Zoricic, and that's good one-on-one defending from the Olympic right back, but his pass sold his teammate straight into trouble. Orgler. And a foul on Hong. That was Cody Nancaro getting into the back of Josh Hong. Clark. Zoricic. Olympic going right through the middle of the pitch. Amanda veers left. Gloria Amanda to the shouts of Broadmeadow opponents who thought it was his last touch. Instead, a throw in. Connor O'Toole will come over to take. Fuchs. Hong. Christinel. And Zoricic. Olympic have bought their own football for the first 2 minutes of the second half so far, owning possession. Clark tries to guide a ball through the left channel, and the whistle is gone. Flags up for offside. So Ali Orgler was attempting to find a way into the penalty area through the left, but didn't duck back onside in time. Back pass all the way to Zach Bowling here. Broadmeadow heading left. Gage Raftery. Cox. Hospital pass for Kresnar. Clark, an improvised ball over his own shoulder. Not quite able to set his team away. Things will reset at the centre of Olympics defence. Orgler.
Don't forget the QR code there, plus visiting the Australian Championship website is the way you can vote on who you think will win. I did suggest during the first half when it was 2-0, I think at that point, Broadmeadow was only on 40%. They've scored and gone down. So Sydney Olympic perhaps keeping the faith. They can go on and win from here. Ali Orgler with a bustling run, trying to change the pace of the attack, but his pass was forced. And now Kresnar with a return ball. Cox showed a lot of the ball there to Donnell, but the follow-up is on. Gage Raftery riding the challenge of Clark, and he's bowled over from the side, and that will be a shooting range free kick. Gloria Amanda came in as the third man in the contest. To be honest, it looked like Seth Clark had it under control, but Amanda charged in and just used his momentum right into the back of Hayden Gage Raftery. I mean, the slow-mo replay maybe looks a little worse than it was. Perhaps he's a bit fortunate to escape without a booking, you'd have to say. So, free kick, shooting range. We saw Ryan Fuchs put a ball almost into the top left corner in the first half. Can Broadmeadow answer with a special of their own and tie this game up at 2-2? Thomas Beecham now standing solo over this free kick opportunity. Stutter step run up. Dips it, but not enough. Sydney Olympic on notice if they give away another shooting range free kick. See Jack Gibson there has donned the peaked cap. Sunny 31 degrees in Newcastle today. Got two balls on the pitch. So back live. Donnell. Clark. Amanda. Hits the byline, wins a corner. No, he doesn't. Oh, good defending from Broadmeadow. Slight challenge came in, but no contact on the ball. And Amanda, his natural momentum was enough to carry the ball out. Let's do some forensics on the replay. Yeah, he just got the last touch with that attempted bunny hop there over the top of Beecham. Hong's header. High leap by Orgler. Palambini. You see Orgler's got a handful of his shirt. The referee put the whistle away and paid advantage instead. Aaron Cox. Great underlapping run from Gage Raftery. The cut across and desperate defending from Seth Clark to clear away. Clark's down. We've got news of an equaliser early in the second half from Heidelberg United. It looks like it might be Johnny Apostolopoulos who's scored there to make it 1-1. So South Hobart were the only team without a point coming into this final day of the group stage. Slaven O'Halidi here is talking about that last phase of play to the fourth official. Perhaps querying how Seth Clark was interfered with, which has left him receiving treatment here. This is opposite number, Jim Kresnar. So this is Johnny Apostolopoulos' goal down at Darcy Street in Hobart, and it is now South Hobart 1, Heidelberg United 1. Even a draw, even a first point for South Hobart would be something to leave them feeling a bit better about their championship campaign. No team wants to go the dreaded zip 6. Kresnar protesting there about potentially being fouled and whether or not there should have been a card. It was Hong who wrapped his arms around him, and then there's a tangle of legs in the aftermath. Ball cleared onto the roof of the clubhouse. Zoricic. Nothing subtle about the shove in the back there from Nankaro. Again, both teams are starting to plead to the referee to start producing cards, it seems, but they've been left in the pocket so far today. Nankaro with the shove there on Hong. So 10 minutes ticked by in the second half. No change to the halftime scoreline. Sydney Olympic still holding a 2-1 lead. Ali Orgla, chipped pass over the top for Amanda. Great save. Knocked away by Zach Bowling. Orgla to his own advantage, hugging the line. And as he goes to ground, no foul given. But he nearly had a really brilliant assist there. Aaron Cox not able to find a way through. Here's another look at that ball over the top, and Gloria Munda, well, you'd probably say he shot it right at the goalkeeper, but at that sort of close range, it is at times a question of reflexes to avoid deflecting it into your own net. Here come Broadmeadow. Corner kick on the way. It was a good little run by Kresnar, winning the corner off Fuchs. And as Fuchs heard, he's just favouring his right ankle here. You see he goes to ground, and it is that ankle that bears the brunt of the impact, putting the ball behind for a corner. So this is the goal in Tasmania. Heidelberg have said, enough of this. Let's start playing some football, and Choc Dow firing in. So 2 goals in quick succession, and it looks like South Hobart Hearts may be broken. And they are now in danger of being the only team to go 0-0-6 and lose all 6 games in the group. That's Group B, where Marconi is already locked into second place, and Heidelberg's already locked into first. So treatment here for Fuchs. He's been on a hat-trick ever since the 12-minute mark of the first half, and he has had his chances to complete his hat-trick, but it looks as though he's not going to be able to continue here. So the first substitution of the game is going to be a forced one here for Sydney Olympic, and that's hopefully not something long-term for Ryan Fuchs, given what fantastic form he's finished his season in. Treatment will continue outside the field of play.
Adam Parkhouse is being ready to come on. So Broadmeadow have a man advantage here. 11 versus 10 at the corner. Into the near post. It falls in the box. And the shot is saved away. Great reflexes from Gibson. And he's able to foil Tom Parks, who swept his right foot through the ball. And ultimately drew a very good save out of the keeper. No time wasted over the corner. Parks was lining it up again. This time the ball whipped away. Gage Raftery through traffic, blocked, and now the follow-up is right between the eyes of the keeper. Broadmeadow making their move in the second half. And Sydney Olympic, through their goalie, Jack Gibson, equal to it. Still 11 versus 10. Olympic need a break in play to be able to sub Adam Parkhouse on, and they're going to get it here. So let's take a look at this chance. What a good save that is from Gibson to deny Tom Parks. It was just a rising shot that was on track to bust the roof of the net. So confirmed, Ryan Fuchs subbed out, and the number 11, Adam Parkhouse, is on. Orgler playing a deeper role in this second half, and he might be caught out of position here. Gage Raftery was trying to exploit space through the left wing. Zoricic kept him honest. Demi can't bring his teammate Orgler into the chain of passes. Beecham. Kresnar rolled right into Parkhouse's challenge. It's a little scrappy from both teams here. Lots of shouting about who's going to press and who's not. Goalkeeper Bowling clears only as far as Clark. Through the left channel, Olympic are on here. It should be a tap in. 6 in 6. Ali Orgler takes the outright Golden Boot lead in the Australian Championship. And even though there won't be team glory for Sydney Olympic, there could be a very significant individual milestone right there. It was a good run, good hustle through the left by Gloria Munda, and he put it on a platter for Ali Orgler. He has scored in every game of the Australian Championship, and now he stands alone as its top scorer. And the Olympic fans that have made the trip up the motorway raise the banners. What a performance. The rumours are swirling that the Central Coast Mariners are set to hit go on resuming his A-League career. He was previously at MacArthur, but they are only rumours, and I'm sure Sydney Olympic would love nothing more than for Ali Orgler to be suiting up for them in round 1 of NPL New South Wales in February. So he's outright top of the Golden Boot. He overtakes Lachlan Scott on 5 goals. And there's no one on 4 that's still to play this weekend. Still a handful of players on 3, although Ryan Fuchs is one of them, and he's been subbed out. And one of them's Drayden Kelly, who's the centre back. Tell you what, if Drayden Kelly finds a way to get into the Golden Boot conversation this afternoon, it will be a fun afternoon out at Leichhardt Oval. Clark. Oh, tagged hard by Kresnar. And even though many a player has walked the tightrope today and tested the referee's patience, Calvin Berg is once again not going to reach, or is he? Yeah, one tackle too many. At last, a yellow card is brandished in the game. And it is Broadmeadow's goal scorer, James Kresnar, who receives it. So play restarts in the defensive half of Sydney Olympic. Not to be forgotten, in Ali Orgler taking the lead in the Golden Boot is that they are now 3-1 up, 2-goal buffer. Can they go on with the job here and run up the score and end the championship on a happier note, having been so frustrated to this point? Oh, Demi thought he was fouled on the edge of the box. The referee waved play on. Broadmeadow trying to clear out of a midfield trap here. Really well done by Orgler, combining with Hong to win the ball away. Parkhouse, Clark, bending over to the left side. O'Toole got forward, and his touch enough to take it out for a goal kick. So, can Broadmeadow surge again? If Group A has told us anything, they will have another burst in them. Maybe another goal or two in them. Dead rubber or not. Here they go right on cue, through the right. Nancaro, not been his afternoon so far. Can he find a way to Palambini? It's cleared shallow. Gage Raftery! And Broadmeadow Magic do have a second. Aiden Gage Raftery puts it in the bottom left corner. And the 2-goal buffer was short-lived for Sydney Olympic. Group A is just going to keep providing shootouts. 5 goals already, and we've barely passed the hour mark. We are going out with a bang. And Broadmeadow Magic are still a chance of taking something from today's game. You have to wonder what the... it was just panicked defending there from Zoricic, clearing to the edge of the box, and he was punished by Aiden Gage Raftery. So subs happening for Sydney Olympic. We'll update you in due course in the aftermath of the goal. Parkhouse is on the attack here though. It's been parried in. Zach Bowling not able to keep it out of his net, and Adam Parkhouse has Sydney Olympic up 4-2. It is write your own ticket on the final score. And if you had the over, well, it's going way over because it's 6 goals in the back of the net in 66 minutes. Adam Parkhouse can't believe his luck. It was O'Toole's ball almost immediately from kickoff. Did it catch a deflection? Maybe it was just an awkward cross to deal with. Either way, it broke the hands of Bowling and found its way to fall into the back of the nets. So it's Olympic 4, Broadmeadow Magic 2. And the referee says, I think we all need a drink. We had a drinks break in the first half. We're having one, of course, in the second. It is 32 degrees at present. Quickly running some of the numbers here on just the sheer number of goals that have hit the back of the net in this group. This is going to be Sydney Olympic up to 14 goals for, 14 against. Moreton City 15 for, 13 against. It's been a guarantee of shootouts, these teams. Now, in the midst of the ball hitting the back of the net non-stop here in Newcastle, I'm just going to take another look here at Ali Orgler's goal. That made it 3-1 at the time. Then the equaliser, well, not the equaliser, the goal for 3-2, which was grabbed back by Aiden Gage Raftery. Seizing on a shallow clearance and able to nestle it in the corner. And then immediately from kickoff, Adam Parkhouse able to net a goal of his own here. Again, hard to tell. I think that's just a cross, no deflection. Short drinks break. Everyone wants to get back to the football and the fun. In terms of the timing, the goals were 62, 66 and 67. So 3 goals in 5 match minutes. Unbelievable. But yes, down in Tasmania, South Hobart have grabbed an equaliser. So after Heidelberg overran them to lead 2-1, South Hobart are now back on for their first competition point. It is 2-2 down there, and I can tell you that Metro Stars have hit the crossbar in their search for a second goal against Sydney United. They are 1-0 up at present. As things stand, it means that Apia Leichhardt versus Bayswater City will be for all the biscuits in the late game this afternoon. Is there a fifth here for Olympic? Orgler knocked it down. Zoricic, heavy touch, and then takes out Gage Raftery, which leads to a free kick. I'm sure that Metro Stars would love a second just to make it safe, of course. There could be, as we see the foul again, if it is a draw between Bayswater City and Apia this afternoon at Leichhardt Oval, they'll both go through. But if there is as things stand, if there's a winner and a loser, the loser will be eliminated. Wouldn't it be chaotic if the WA and South Australia team are the two that get out of Group D? Zoricic being harassed by Aaron Cox. Is a fourth goal finally enough for Olympic to put down Broadmeadow Magic? Have they finally seen off the challenge of their feisty hosts here at Magic Park? There's the first Broadmeadow goal scorer, Kresnar, also the only player with a yellow card to his name. Gibson restarts play. 20 minutes of regulation to go. It's a wrestle for the ball, which Broadmeadow have prevailed in. You see there the number 15 for the home side has come on. That is Regan Joes. He's entered the game. Bit of friendly encouragement to the home side there to lift their game. Demi dispossessed. From the base of midfield, Simmons to Jose, taken off him. Hong has got options left and right. Oh, he went to the right and he overhit the pass. Cyrus Demi throws his head back in frustration. He was in on the right there if Hong had just hit it a little more deftly. Instead, he forced it out for a goal kick. Headed from Nancaro, returned in kind by Bosniak. Jose over to the right channel. Jesse Hill has also come on here for the Broadmeadow Magic. From the right, oh, bombs away from Aaron Cox. He just wasn't able to twist and shape his foot on that cross. So I think what happened is in the aftermath of one of the goals, there was a double sub for the Broadmeadow Magic, leading to Jesse Hill and Regan Joes coming on. Nearly giving the ball away in a dangerous area is Regan Jose, but he's able to keep the attack moving over to the right. And now a long ball, oh, and it broke perhaps a little bit kinder than was expected there for Simmons. It's been thrown up front here as part of a positional reshuffle after the double sub. Kresnar puts a left foot on the ball. Demi able to turn and distribute. Augler's got one already. Oh, and he's legged there by Gage Raftery just as he was dancing inside, and no doubt his next thought would have been a shot on goal. So a second yellow card of the game is presented, and it's Aiden Gage Raftery who gets the booking. Augler, this is a trademark move from him, the little skip inside. He's got no reason to look for the foul there, because if he does get past Gage Raftery, look at the amount of space he's got there to load up his left foot and have a ping. Instead, it'll be a free kick. And with Ryan Fuchs off, I'm sure there'll be now a bit of a debate about who gets to strike this one. Christinell, the centre back, is the right-footed option. 5 in the wall, as you can see there. And then the left foot of Ali Augler. It's Augler, and he puts it just wide to the left. It didn't quite have the whip to bend back towards the target. It was a bending free kick that didn't have just a late jag. From that angle, it looks very close, and I'm sure from Ali Augler's vantage point, it would be even more agonisingly close than that. Denell back to his goalkeeper, Gibson. 15 minutes of regulation to go. Gage Raftery trying to find a gap where there wasn't one. Augler takes possession, shooting range for Ali Augler! Great save. Zach Bowling foils him. A firm hand to put it out for a corner kick. And the only thing missing from Ali Augler's Australian Championship is a double. That was struck like a tracer bullet. And the goalkeeper Bowling had to be strong in parrying it out. Corner taken short. Here's Parkhouse. Left-footed whip. Flick header on. It's going to sit up here. Cyrus Demi tried to cut it back. It's been intercepted. And he puts an arm over the shoulder of Gage Raftery. And the cards are starting to appear now. Sydney Olympics' first player booked is Cyrus Demi. And I think he's got a decent memory, because he's immediately talking to the referee, Calvin Berg, about the number of times he was fouled in the first half. But you can have absolutely no arguments there, I'm sure. So I mentioned earlier the equaliser for South Hobart against Heidelberg United. It is still 2-2 in that game. And there is hope yet. Listen to the crowd. They absolutely love it down at Darcy Street. I do wonder, is that going to start a groundswell for Tasmania to commit to having a foundation member of the championship rather than simply sending their premier? Could be a good foundation for them to build a more competitive team rather than one that is fighting tooth and nail simply to draw one of their 6 games. Anyway, that's a debate for after the live action has ended. I'm sure plenty of people watching the championship would be familiar with some of the midweek podcast options that have been mulling over all the permutations and analysing the games and just enjoying the fact that the NPL off-season is effectively now from the first week of December to about the second week of February. So only 7 weeks that you no longer have the NPL in your life. Of course, for these two teams, they are 12 minutes plus stoppage time away from starting their off-season
given that some clubs that aren't in the Australian Championship have already gone back to start pre-season for next campaign for 2026, you can definitely consider that it's a very, very busy time in football. Heaps of recruiting and new signings going on. These two teams will officially be in off-season mode as of later this afternoon. Foul here, Hong. And then just kicks the ball away, almost daring the referee to book him, and the referee is trying to lay down the law here to Josh Hong. And he'd be wise to just take his medicine here and receive his yellow card. There it is. Without any further shows of petulance to potentially get himself two in the same phase of play. And again, you'd be spewing to get sent off today because the suspension would carry into next season. I wonder if that's Hong's way of telling the bench, time to sub me off. Oh, another fairly blatant foul, and the game is just starting to get a little bit chippy. O'Toole's turn to go. Well, the referee's reaching for the card here. Connor O'Toole, the former A-League professional, getting hooked in by Broadmeadow youngster Jesse Hill to commit that foul, and then more afters here. Seth Clark's playing peacemaker. O'Toole, yellow card. Let's take another look at the actual foul. Yeah, Hill gets the better of him, grabbing the shirt. Not much more to it than that. And then it's really the afters, which is where things kick off. Charles Bidwell's the one that drops the shoulder, and Kresnar, who himself is on a booking and has to be careful. I mean, he's got a smile on his face. He can see the theatre and the fun in it all. The end result is a free kick. Can Broadmeadow Magic set up a grandstand finish here and cut the deficit back to just the one goal again? Here comes the free kick from Simmons. And he's sailed that out, a real anticlimax. So, double change coming up here for the Broadmeadow Magic. Nicholas Simpson and Jaden Stewardson are entering the game. Jacob Kresnar, the goal scorer, coming off, as is Cody Nancaro. So they did only name 5 on the bench today, Broadmeadow, and that's all 4 outfielders among their subs who have now been subbed into the game. Olympic did fill the full bench. Still got George Contis, Riley Hollingdale, Jack Armson, Sean Suzuki and Luca Pecora available to them, having subbed on Adam Parkhouse for Ryan Fewts. Orgler, Parkhouse. Cleared by Beecham. O'Toole. He's got the blood pumping after receiving that yellow card and having that confrontation a couple of minutes ago. And it looks as though Olympic have won a free kick as a result. Right in front of their bay of fans that have made the trip to Broadmeadow. Here's O'Toole again. It was Simmons who caught him late. Again, definitely a free kick. Cross comes in here. Oh, what a chance. Cyrus Demi has skied the volley. And that could have been 5-2 and Sydney Olympic home and dry.
was O'Toole's cross. And Demi makes his ground, but an instep volley. And he just wasn't able to keep it down. O'Toole is off. He's been subbed out of the game. We're going to see Jack Armisen get some minutes here. Hasn't been perhaps as prominent in the Australian Championship as regular followers of Sydney Olympic might have expected, given his previous reputation and record in New South Wales NPL, but he's going to get the last 6 minutes plus stoppage here, and he's coming on for Cyrus Demi. So Armisen into the game. And Luca Pecora was the player that came on for Connor O'Toole. Zoricic, good challenge and an even better pass. Ali Orgla's away. Orgla tries to bend it. Oh, and it bends the wrong way. It's almost like when you put a lawn bowl on the green and roll it out with the wrong bias. It just kept bending in the other direction. So it's looking like an increasingly difficult equation here for Broadmeadow to get back into this game. As things stand, Sydney Olympic will finish third in the group. They'll win 2 of their 6 games. And they will bow out a point behind Moreton City Excelsior. Gage Raftery. Aaron Cox trying to outrun Zach Zoricic. Holding him off here. Still Cox. Shoots into his own teammate. Stewardson trying to make a contest of it. And the Olympic defence scramble it away. Jose. Wilson, long ball, and no runners breaking anywhere near it, so that will be easily fielded by Gibson here. He's happy to stand up and say, come and insist that I pick up the ball, please. And so Jaden Stewardson has to go and do one more shuttle run just to make the goalkeeper pick the ball up. Armisen pressing, trying to affect how Broadmeadow are playing out here, and that's really good control from Wilson to stop the ball going out for a throw-in, but Olympic do eventually win it back. Orgla's touch, Armisen. He's looking for the right option here. Turns inside. Amanda. Clark, a bending pass over to the left. Pecora trying to pass it around the corner, couldn't do so, intercepted. Broadmeadow trying to hit on the counter here. Through the right they venture. Away goes Jesse Hill, and he's got his hands full with Samuel Bosniak. There's been a penalty at TK Shutter, and it's for the home team. Hamish Gow has put it in the back of the net, an 86th minute penalty converted, and that means you've got no excuse not to be watching Apia Leichhardt versus Bayswater City at 4:30 p.m. because that game will be live. It's Metro Stars 2, Sydney United 0. And it means that as things stand, Metro Stars will go through if there is a winner and loser in the game between Apia and Bayswater City. Broadmeadow on the attack in the meantime, and that's good keeping. Stewardson in at the near post, but good strong hands from Gibson. Here's a look at how the penalty was conceded by Sydney United. Great home crowd at TK Shutter there in Adelaide. So Hamish Gow, no mistake from the spot. And that is Metro Stars. They will be watching either on YouTube or SBS On Demand, just like everyone else. They will be sweating, probably watching in the club rooms, sweating on the outcome of the later game this afternoon. And of course, that's what Preston Lions will be doing as they watch Canberra, Croatia take on NWS Spirit, hoping for a big favour there too. So both the late games are live. Orgler. Last rights of this one, about to find out how many minutes of stoppage. Looks as though Sydney Olympic have done enough, even though Moreton City Excelsior came from the clouds in stoppage time last week. It does appear they've learnt their lesson. Hong's down, he's hurt. In the meantime, Pecora looking for Parkhouse. Parkhouse shrugs his marker, and he was offside. Gee, two unmarked players in the middle, but he was trapped offside. And Hong is still down, so he's going to need a bit of attention here. It's going to take us into stoppage time. We had a drinks break, and this is the only injury of note in the second half. So maybe 3 minutes, maybe 4. We've had a couple of breaks for substitutions as well, as we see how Hong got hurt. He was clearing. Oh, yeah, the outstretched foot. And that's an impact injury, perhaps on the ankle or the top of the foot. So hopefully not too serious for Josh Hong. Physio went out to assess. Still 2-2 between South Hobart and Heidelberg, so the Tasmanians are holding on to their first point. So stoppage time has been announced as 5 minutes, hearing the ground announcer there. So 5 minutes to go, plus whatever the referee tacks on for this treatment here, to finish the Australian Championship campaigns of these two sides. It's been everything you could ask for from a dead rubber. We've had the storyline of Ali Orgler going to the top of the Golden Boot. We've had 6 goals combined across the game. So playback underway. We might be up to 6 minutes of additional time, as we've lost at least a minute there after we ticked over the 90 for the treatment for Hong. But is there one more goal for the road for either of these two teams? Cox playing it back to Wilson. Hill fashions across, headed away by Bosniak. Home fans with a swell of applause, hoping for more. Hoping for one more goal from the home team, just to keep it interesting right at the death here. Can they get a ball into the box, though? That's the question. Simpson got his hands full over on the wing, able to extract the ball and win it back. Still a host of blue shirts to deal with, and in his attempts to sky it past all of them, he's also cleared the penalty area well and truly. One thing that has been great about the Australian Championship is the fans have responded. Hopefully it's whet the appetite for the NPL season starting in the early months of 2026 and carrying that momentum through to season 2 of the Australian Championship come October again. And who knows where it goes from there. The wind, arguably as strong as it's been all game here, absolutely howling down to the left of your screens. You see the flags flapping all of of that favouring the end that Broadmeadow were attacking, but it hasn't actually had a great deal of bearing on the football, it must be said. Stand-up challenge from Clark draws a free kick here. Another look at how Simmons was able to lure Clark in. So a mid-ranger. The wind could be a factor here, accelerating the ball if it's allowed to bounce in the box as well. Gage Raftery, 1 goal to his name already, and it isn't allowed to bounce because Gibson read that perfectly in the air and holds on to the catch. So into the last minute of the allocated 5, we might have a little bit more added on due to the injury right on the announcement of stoppage time. Although with the 2-goal buffer, maybe the referee will decide that enough is enough. Not a huge amount of urgency remaining in the game. I think Broadmeadow know that unlike previous encounters in this Australian Championship, there will be no late capitulation from Sydney Olympic today. They are going to salute in game week 6. Foul here. Free kick to Broadmeadow down at left back, and well, if you get an appearance bonus, don't forget to put your invoice in, because I think we're getting a late sub at triple change for Sydney Olympic here. So we're going to see Riley Hollingdale come on here. Also George Contis, the number 4, is getting subbed on. And so the subs go through, triple change. Dominic Ciano is the 3rd player subbed on here for Sydney Olympic. So if they get a touch of the ball, they'll be doing well with only seconds left to go. Triple change right at the end of the game. Hollingdale, Contis and Ciano all getting an Australian Championship appearance. Clark. Into a 7th minute of additional time we go. Could it be enough time for Sydney Olympic to score again? 1-on-1 at the top of the box and a show of strength. And the referee says no foul, no penalty, and there won't be one more goal for the Road. That would have been quite the full stop to put on the game, though. Oh, and given we're well beyond the original 5 minutes, you hope that Aiden Gage Raftery is not injured here. All right, here's another look at this chance. And ultimately falling out of the way was Riley Hollingdale as he advanced into the penalty area. I think he loses his balance first and is almost trying to cling on to his opponent Bidwell there as he goes to ground, rather than a foul the other way. So we've played 7 additional minutes now. And the Australian Championship has been great fun. I can understand not wanting it to end. It has finished 2-2 down in Tassie, so South Hobart do get a point, and Metro Stars have secured a 2-0 win against Sydney United. So both the 4:30 games will have something at stake. Here's Hollingdale. Parkhouse has one already. Can he finish his championship with a second? Well, it was very nearly the same sort of shot and angle to his first. It bent across the face and out for a corner kick. And it looks as though Olympic will have the time to take their 8th corner of the game. Seth Clark knocks it short. Hollingdale. Into the box it comes. Donnell's cross. Cleared away. And the full-time whistle goes. We bid farewell to the Broadmeadow Magic and Sydney Olympic in the 2025 Australian Championship, but they played this match like they did the entire group. A shootout And it finishes Broadmeadow Magic 2, Sydney Olympic 4. So the scoring was done by the 67-minute mark. It was a run of 3 goals in 5 minutes, where it looked like any sort of scoreline was possible, but that was enough. A 2-goal buffer for the 3rd time in the game, having led 2-0 and 3-1. That was enough for Olympic to consolidate, and they will avoid the embarrassment of finishing bottom of the group. Broadmeadow Magic, I think you'd still give them a pass mark for their Australian Championship. They did win a game. They'd only ever won once in the Australia Cup coming into this championship, and that was against a team from the ACT. So they've held their own in a difficult group and been competitive in every game, you'd have to say. Second half highlights here. It was an excellent save to foil Tom Parks there. And then this was the tap in that allowed Ali Orgler to take the lead in the Golden Boot. He's almost certainly going to win it now. It's going to take a hat-trick in one of the later games to have anyone even draw level with him in a tie. So it looks as though 6 goals in 6 games, 1 in every game of the group stage, is enough for Ali Orgler to finish clear top of the scoring charts. But this was the start of a frantic 5 minutes where the goals just kept coming. Aiden Gage Raftery unmarked at the top of the penalty area, and unfortunately for Zach Zoricic, he found him with that clearance. Gage Raftery was able to sweep that one in. That was 3-2. Seemingly Broadmeadow Magic no harm done for having fallen 3-1 down. But they switched off immediately from kickoff. So we have another look at the angle here and how Gage Raftery was able to nestle that in the bottom left corner. This is immediately from Sydney Olympic kickoff. Adam Parkhouse gets a look on the left, and it broke the hands of the goalkeeper Bowling to fall into the net and make it 4-2. So the 2-goal buffer was instantly restored, and that meant it was Olympic able to steer their way to the win after that. Bowling would redeem himself though with an excellent save. This was a tracer bullet from Ali Orgler, and Bowling able to parry it out. So here's the numbers. 12 total shots on target in the game for 6 goals. We ended up with 6 yellow cards, even though it took quite a while for the first one to appear out of the pocket. It was just free-flowing and entertaining, and exactly what you would expect from 2 teams with nothing but pride on the line. We've kept you posted on what's been going on around the grounds. So, a first point for South Hobart after a 2-2 draw against Heidelberg United, and early and late goals enough for Metro Stars to stay alive. They'll be watching West Zapia against Bayswater City, hoping that there's a winner and a loser and not a draw. And of course, the other game coming up, very relevant to Preston Lions. They're hoping for a favour from Canberra, Croatia. If NWS Spirit win in Canberra, Spirit will take second spot at Preston's expense. So Group A relevant to this match. There's the final standings. Sydney Olympic able to square away their goal difference, 14-4, 14 against, and 7 points. But they miss out to Moreton City Excelsior, while South Melbourne were convincing group winners. And Group C, these are the 2 groups that are still alive. And as we mentioned, Spirit win, they go through. Apia and Bayswater, if they draw, they both go through. So Olympic thank their travelling fans, and we thank you for your company this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed the Australian Championship. We say goodbye to Broadmeadow Magic and Sydney Olympic. On behalf of our crew, my name's Teo Pellizzeri. Thank you for your company. Good afternoon.